So I'd like to introduce our next speakers to the stage. That's Sue from Warner Brothers and Michael from Neustar.
Hi, everybody. I'm going to take you into the world of entertainment for the next 5 to 10 minutes. First, an overview of Warner Brothers. Recently at the box office, we've had hits like Wonder Woman and Steven Spielberg's Ready Player One, which I hope some of you checked out. It's a great movie. We have been the #1 TV studio for the last 9 seasons. And we have a growing games business with over $1 billion in revenue in 2017 alone. We're home to some of the most beloved brands. We have J.K. Rowling's Wizarding World, DC Comics, Lego, and if any of you are still having nightmares about a clown and a red balloon, that was because of us too, through it. We are a licensed merchandise powerhouse, and we have millions of visitors come through our studio tours every year, both in Southern California and in Leavesden, outside of London, where you can check out the magic of Harry Potter. For you cord cutters out there, we also produce digital content now, and we distribute it through our digital networks, a whole slew of companies of digital networks now. So how does my division, data intelligence, what do we do in a company with so much creative content and so many businesses? Well, Warner Brothers is an interesting place with an interesting challenge. Most of you have heard of Warner Brothers. It's a really well-known brand. However, we launch a new product essentially every 2 weeks or so. Every theatrical release, every home video release, every game, we're building awareness from scratch. Through data intelligence, through consumer marketing, through building entertainment profiles, we don't have to start from scratch every single time anymore. So if you are a horror fan, we want to make sure that you see our next horror movie trailer. Are you a DC fan and you have a gaming console? We want to make sure that you know about our game, Injustice 2. So our mission at Warner Brothers is to build the most comprehensive entertainment data asset in the world. We're going to use that to transform marketing and bring data science into the studio. Now, that sounds pretty typical of everything you've heard here. It's not the easiest thing always to do in entertainment and with a bunch of creatives. So our group is made up of 3 teams: ad tech, martech operations, data science, and engineering. And as you know, the most difficult thing about working with data is creating the connections between all the data sets you need to really do anything actionable. And that's what our team does. We bring in data sets from all across the studio. So we try and tie box office to social buzz, ad impressions, and then we try and forecast home video sales. We try and track a consumer from our theatrical window to home video, to buying a game, to buying a consumer product in a store, and then to visit our studio tours. We have a number of different data partners that help us do that. We collect cookies through DMPs. We actually have 2 DMPs at Warner Brothers. We have a customer data platform. We use Segment. We use Datarama for our integrations into ad and marketing platforms. But ultimately, we unify all of that data through our relationship with Neustar.
Thank you, Sue. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the partnership that Neustar has formed with Warner Brothers and how we help Sue solve the challenge that she just described. So marketers are awash in data. They're literally drowning in data today. And that may include the way in which a consumer is exposed and interacts with a brand through various online channels, including display, mobile, et cetera. It may also include all the offline interactions that a consumer may have with the brand. that may be through email or through direct mail in the case of Warner Brothers, as Sue described, visits to the theme park, exposure to linear TV. And then in many cases, though this is not the case with Warner Brothers, marketers also have their own rich first-party customer intelligence data, which may include CRM systems or loyalty programs. And the challenge that a marketer typically faces is that each of these data sets is a silo. And remarkably, even when we're talking about a brand's own first-party data, we're often seeing that loyalty programs and CRM systems are different and generally can't be connected together. And so the challenge is, how do you leverage identity as the mechanism to bring all of these data sets together? And we work with our brands through Neustar's OneID system, which is a proprietary authoritative identity platform that allows you to take all of these disparate data sets and produce a complete view of the consumer. This process starts with the consumer at the center and a series of persistent identifiers. And these are the individual ways in which a consumer might be identified. It includes things like email and name and address information. It also includes digital identifiers like a mobile ad ID or a cookie. And then associated with each of these identifiers, we have attributes that may come from third-party data providers. It may come from surveys, may come from media exposures. And then we leverage this data in order to generate and activate and optimize consumer experience at scale. Warner Brothers partnered with Neustar to create what we called an identity spine. And I'm going to describe both the typical process and how it's a little bit unique in the case of Warner Brothers. In the general case, the process starts by taking a marketer's first-party data sets, which again, as I described, are often present in silos. Each of these data sets is associated with some form of customer identifier. CRM systems are often associated with PII. Digital exposures may be associated with a cookie or mobile ad ID. And this data is then provided to Neustar with each of those individual identifiers and matched against Neustar's own OneID platform. We then transform that data into a common language using Neustar's proprietary identity platform and generate what we call the identity spine, which has a unique client-specific anonymous identifier that we can use to communicate with the client in a way that is sensitive to consumer privacy, but enables a very granular, fine-grained view of all of the data sets. Now, in the case of Warner Brothers, they're in a challenging situation because while every consumer has engagements with the Warner Brothers brands, everyone has the characters that they love and that they feel really involved with, typically Warner Brothers does not have that relationship on an individual basis with consumers. So the challenge is, how do we create that identity spine when Warner Brothers does not have the name, address, phone number of all these consumers who have gone to see it or who watch the Arrow on CW? And so in this case, we're leveraging a solution we call synthetic CRM, which leverages Neustar's identity platform to create a proxy for a CRM platform and forms the foundation of this identity spine. As you described, there are a variety of data partners, and we're able to ingest data from each of these partners with whatever identifiers they may have. Again, could be digital identifiers, maybe emails, could be PII. And we tie that into this identity spine, anonymize them, associate them with the Warner Brothers ID, and then provide this granular data back to Warner Brothers for analysis and activation. The third step of the process is then additional attribute collection. So we then measure the Warner Brothers marketing activities and allow us to measure exposures and collect attributes, again, associated with the same identity spine. And then provide that back again with an enhanced profile back to the Warner Brothers data science team. That enables customer segmentation, and customer segmentation can leverage Neustar's proprietary customer segmentation platform, but because we're providing the granular data sets back to the Warner Brothers team, Sue and her team can then do their own completely custom segmentation as well, leveraging each of these granular data sets, again, in an anonymous, consumer privacy sensitive way. And that then enables activation across all of these channels, typical digital channels including DSPs and mobile providers, but also through addressable TV and into the walled gardens as well.
So as Michael was saying, we bring the data from Neustar, which now has our first-party data, third-party data, partner data, back into Warner Brothers. And we do that because we have a custom segment builder at Warner Brothers. And the reason we do that is because we run multiple campaigns a week. It's not like some companies where you have, a few campaigns running over the course of a few months. We literally push out 5 to 7 campaigns weekly for all the different titles across the studio. So we use all of this first-party data, all the data that we've collected at Neustar. We support every title with multiple segments. We push them out to our programmatic partners, to addressable TV, and then we bring back the results from those campaigns to optimize as frequently as possible. So some of the projects that we're working on with Neustar to support the studio, we link survey data to behavioral data. It not only allows us to profile those survey users, but it gives us an idea if people do what they say they're going to do in the surveys. We also use machine learning to build audience propensity models. We use those as segments in our campaigns. This powers our internal trade desk. At Warner Brothers, we've brought a lot of our programmatic in-house because we have so much first-party data. And also these data integrations with the partners, like Michael was talking about. We don't always have direct contact with our consumers. We're ultimately a B2B business. We sell our movies to exhibitors. We sell our DVDs to retailers. So we need an ecosystem of partners to bring that data back in. So that's just a high-level view of some of the things we do to transform marketing at Warner Brothers.